Hello, I'm Patrick Magee, sports writer for the Sun Herald.
I'm Patrick Ochs at Sports Guys, Week 10.
Here we're talking about Friday night's big games. I'll be talking about George County, Biloxi, and also Ocean Springs, St. Martin.
I'll talk about St. Stanislaus and Moss Point, but I'll kick things off talking about D'Iberville, Gulfport. Really big, important 4-6A game. You have D'Iberville coming off a pretty convincing win against Hancock. A good way for them to bounce back after a disappointing performance at George County. Those 3 turnovers in that game and that loss against George County really made the difference there. And, as we've seen from Eric Collins' team, if they're on schedule, they don't turn the ball over, they've been pretty good. They've got a smothering defense that I think will work well again this week against Gulfport. And the big thing, we've talked about this quite a bit, biggest surprise to me with Gulfport is I thought they'd be able to run the ball with a little more regularity. They've struggled with that. I don't quite know what the deal is. They have a pretty big athletic offensive line. You'd think they'd be able to move guys out of the way and clear some holes, but they just haven't quite gotten it done. Cleveland Ford's been fine. He's thrown for over 1,100 yards, so he's not been the problem passing the ball. And Rhodes Walker's done a good job filling in there. I think this is a game that'll come down to the fourth quarter. If D'Iberville has their way, they're going to just inch the ball down the field and probably win it, I think, in the fourth quarter, maybe 28-24. Then you have Moss Point hosting St. Stanislaus. I wrote the column today. Probably the best team they've had under Bill Conadi's. The key here is a big question mark for me heading into the season. What was the defense going to look like? You lose Mason Favre, you lose Mitchell Walk, you lose Tommy Reeder, and they've answered. They're not as big as they were last year, and they probably don't have the same athletes at some positions that other teams do, but they've just been in a great position to make tackles, to make plays. They didn't give up the big play last week against East Central. I think that was the key in containing them and forcing 3 turnovers. They ended up making the difference. And then you have Moss Point, obviously still in the fight for a playoff spot. They're coming off of a 5-point win over Pass Christian, a good Pass Christian team. That's a good win for them. They're still in the hunt there. I think anytime you have Omni Wells or Romello Leggins, you're going to be in the game. I think it's going to be hard for the Tigers, though, to knock off the top-ranked Rocket Shaws. I think St. Stanislaus ends up winning by maybe 3 scores.
Yeah, Biloxi's making the difficult trip to George County this week, and you have to be impressed the way Biloxi's played in region competition. They played St. Martin tough last week. St. Martin managed to pull that one out, but Biloxi's probably been far better than anybody really expected in region play. Tucker Thomas, I think, settled in a little bit at quarterback. He's a good athlete there, can really move around, and has found Tim Jones a little bit better at times here in recent weeks. But going to George County has played really well. They've kind of, right now, I think they're the team to beat in that region, from my point of view. Raymond Spivery, like I've said before, he has probably the best receiving core on the coast, maybe in the state, with Tyrese Freifogel and Dwam Williams and Caleb Gentry. I think George County wins that game fairly handily. I just like the way things are going for them. It seems like everything's coming together. They won a tight game over Ocean Springs, late field goal. George County just seems to have everything kind of going their way right now, and I think George County wins that game by a couple of touchdowns. Ocean Springs, St. Martin, it was a wild one last year at Ocean Springs, a game decided by a field goal as well at Greyhound Stadium. This one's at St. Martin, and no question about St. Martin's playing the better football at the moment. Ocean Springs, I talked with their head coach, Ryan Ross, and he said the injuries have really kind of started to pile up for them and on the offensive line. So that makes it hard for the Greyhounds to really kind of get their best players in offense going. Malcolm McGee's a good dual threat guy. Of course, Austin Williams, a receiver. If you can't protect your quarterback, it's hard to get him the ball. So it's hard to see hard to see Ocean Springs really keeping up with St. Martin, which is so explosive on the offensive side of the ball. Ryan Ross compared St. Martin receiver Caleb Reddick's really a tailback when he gets the ball in his hands, and out there, they can make it, maybe toss it 5 yards downfield, and he can get him another 20 yards just based on effort, really running after the catch. I see St. Martin winning this game, probably 10 points. Ocean Springs is going to find a way to make it close. Ryan Ross always seems to find a way to do that, but St. Martin needs this game. Ocean Springs needs this game, but St. Martin's just the better football team this season and at this moment. We appreciate you watching again this week, and remember to download the Sun Herald app and keep up with all the live scores Friday night. Thanks for watching.